Well, it just blew another one. Woohoo, look at all the smoke coming out of there. I think I better shut it off, huh? Look at the smoke coming out. Boy, this has been a joy, this thing. Well, hello again. As you saw, things have not been going well with this radio. It's been terrible. I've never seen a radio give me so many problems, such a small little dinky thing. We have blown out three, actually we blew out 4 capacitors. I mean, they went kabloo. And this one here almost blew through the entire side. Look at that thing. For those of you who have never seen what a blown capacitor does with all the smoke and everything, it went off like a large firecracker. Well, there was a name for a cherry. We used to cherry bomb. We used to call them. Anyway, so, and then of course I found a couple of faulty mica caps in there. They were just dried out and shot to pieces. They were not good at all. Okay, so what are we going to do? Well, what's happening? Let me tell you what's happening. Every time I turn this radio on, every time I go like that on, it sends a surge of voltage to the capacitors. All right, the 2 capacitors inside the chassis, and it always happens. No matter what radio you turn on, you always get that surge. They call it a voltage surge. Anyway, the way we have this thing set up with these 2 capacitors here, with this voltage doubler deal, it sends higher voltage than normal, than what was designed for this transformer. Now, with this transformer, the original capacitors could handle it, no problem at all, because the voltage was low enough. But we've got some very high voltage here, and every time I turned it on, it would damage the capacitive layer inside each of the capacitors, because there was only 2 in there. I had these 2 last, okay? These 2 plus these 2 here, these 2 right here on the schematic are these 2 right here. This one and this one, okay? Comes off one leg of the this voltage doubler, goes in, goes up, and right there. So those are the ones that are blowing. At first I only had 1 blow, and then a little while later, a few days later, when I turned it on, the second one blew, which was this one here. Normally this one was handling it, but this one blew first, which made me stop. But I could turn it on, it would sit there and be fine, and then after a few minutes it just go boom, So, so I decided what we need to do is double up on the capacitors. Yep, we're going to put 2 of them in series. Now I have here 22 microfarad rated at 450 volts. I'm going to put 2 of them in series for one capacitor, and the other 2 in series for the other capacitor, giving me a total a double voltage handling capability, because I believe each of the 2 capacitors share the load. Now I tried to convince Brendan of that. I said, look, Brendan, this is what we need to do. We need to double up on those 2 capacitors with 2 of these and 2 of those, whichever value I might have, and that'll probably, they'll be able to take the turn on and the in this case explosive voltage surge. My dogs, it must be somebody outside. They bark at anything. Hang on. Well, as usual, there's nothing there. They like to bark at nothing, and it's been raining all day today. Anyway, getting back to this, I tried to convince Brendan over and over and over, and finally he said, okay, we'll double up on the capacitors. Now, of course, for those of you who don't know, Brendan is my electronics mentor. Of course, if you talk to him, he'll probably tell a completely different story, but we won't worry about that. I'm one of these guys, I may not always tell the truth, but I never lie, okay? So let me get these capacitors in. I'm just going to put one end to end and solder them in, and then we're going to turn this baby on again. Now, even when the capacitors, before they blew, when they were working, we still weren't getting any reception. Everything under the chassis is wired properly. I've looked it over 4 different times. I don't know what the problem is. Could be something wrong with this. I've taken this apart and cleaned the 2 capacitors up here with the mica. Everything looks good. I ohmed out the coils. Everything's fine. But we're still getting an exceptionally high current draw over here. We should, in this radio, we shouldn't be getting much more than like 2.5. We're up here around 7, maybe a little bit more than 7. I'm talking about 100 milliamps is what we're talking about here. And that is the way it is done. Just make a coil on one end, slide it across the other, cut it off a little bit. You don't want them butting completely up against one another. You just give yourself a little space there. Especially in my case, if this thing decides to blow, it's going to have room to totally explode. You understand? Well, it was a tight squeeze, but we got these two in and these two in. Now, think of these as a single capacitor, okay? Even though you're looking at 2 and 2, it's a single capacitor. This one and this one. One goes to ground and then goes up to here, on up to pin 3. This is that one right here. Ground, positive, goes down to pin 3 on the 42 tube. The other one is connected to this half of the bottom of the transformer. That's still good. So essentially what we have is this right here, okay? We don't have that third leg down there. You've just got this one leg coming out, connecting, and that's this black wire right here. Okay? That black wire comes out and it connects to the positive, to the negative on this setup right here, which is right here. Comes out, connects to the center, the negative right there, okay? Alright, so let's go ahead and flip it around, get the tubes in, fire it up, and watch the smoke. We're ready to kick it off here. Now look, I probably could have avoided those exploding capacitors if I'd have brought it up slowly on the variac each and every time. But instead, I was just turning it on. Once I got it up to a little over 110 volts. And, you know, everything was fine. I'd shut it off, check a few things, check a voltage, look at this, look at that, and then turn it around, turn it back on. You know, it was over time. It just caused them to fail. So anyway, it shouldn't happen this time because I'm going to bring it up nice and slow. Alright, we're up to 85 volts. And again, the current draw is way up, 500 milliamps. Boy, I wish I could figure out what's causing that. I've done everything I can do to try to figure out why it's drawing so much current. This is a 4-tube radio. Look how much current it's drawing. I can't get over this. One more thing, by the way, if you ever set up one of these, be careful. You touch any of that stuff, you're going to get zapped. Be careful. Let's go up to, let's see what I can do here if I go up to 100. A little closer, you can see it. Let's go up to 100. The current's a little low. It'll probably go a little higher. It always does. Usually around 700 milliamps, which is way beyond what it should be. Alright, what the heck, let's go to 110. Yeah, see, we're almost at 700 already. Alright, you should be playing right now anyway, but we're getting nothing. Let me hook up the antenna. Just a little bit of static out of the speaker. Probably caused by one of the tubes, I don't know. Probably a tube. Well, we're getting nothing. I have the antenna hooked up. We're getting zip. Not even a hint of a station, which really irks me. Let's see, let's take this off the top of the 6A7, which is the first tube. See, it shows it all the way through. So the problem is somewhere in here, or this. Oh, by the way, I wanted to point this out. I bought a different, the first replacement 100K pot that I bought, or potentiometer that I bought for this thing to replace the bad one. It was a audio taper pot. And for those of you who have been following my videos, you know what I showed you the difference between an audio taper and a linear potentiometer. Back prior to 1934, they did not have audio taper pots. So I went ahead and ordered a linear pot, and it came in, and this is what this is now. You know, I don't know if it would have made a whole lot of difference, but it couldn't have helped. I mean, it couldn't do nothing but help. So, but hear that? It's almost like a tube causing that. Let me tap around here and see if I can figure out what tube might be causing that. It's probably this 6C6. Sounds like I'm getting some microphonics there. Oh, look at there. That's the 42 tube. Now, why is that doing that? Oh well, what I'm going to do is drop it off here. This video is already too long. I want you to know that in the very near future we're going to be having two different videos. One of them you folks are going to be very interested in. Some of you folks anyway. It involves what's in this box. Some of you are going to be very interested to see. So stand by on that one. The other one involves this here. It's going to be a mishmash video. It involves what's written on the other side of these papers. And you're going to like this one. This is this is unreal. But this one in the box, this is going to be the best of the two, I think. So until next time, this is John.